anyways, topic. I want to talk about the China glass. So you've been on a kind of a campaign, I would say, to educate our culture on the dangers of China glass. And you want to fill in like where this comes from a little bit
Sure,
about
yeah. We have an active Instagram that I use to get in touch with people for my choice of social networking. We've got a nice sized following on there. Not as big as some, but I mean, definitely we've worked hard to gain a lot of local people, shops, people affiliated in the cannabis industry, just glass art enthusiasts. We've got a good mass of people on there, and I just started to think we might be able to slip in the occasional bit of information instead of just, hey, look at my stuff that I make and buy it, just something a little different. And something that I've just noticed a lot lately is we have a lot of companies, that lie about the origin of their products. They claim
right.
they're,
All
made out
American.
of Denver, Colorado. Things. If you're from Colorado, you know that people here love to support their local brands. I mean, that Colorado C is
Absolutely.
on every damn local. I mean, every state has loyalty to their state, but I mean, Colorado's a little something different. I mean,
Yes,
people are
absolutely.
obsessive about that stuff, and we uncovered a few companies that were just bringing imported product in, baking on these pretty little Colorado C labels and stuff, and lying about where they're from. And not only do I just feel like that's a really big injustice to people that think they're spending their money smartly, helping local economy, but as a 16-year veteran glassblower, we work with a lot of deadly stuff, a lot of really deadly stuff. And the ventilation has to be top notch. The education of the things you're handling is special. This isn't something you just do
Willy-nilly.
overnight. I mean, you got to know what's going on
Right.
here. And we have photographs of Chinese factories using children to blow the glass, and that's these kids, they
And
don't have any idea that it's a health risk. They're just thinking they're bringing home some rice for the family.
right.
They don't know that it's actually going to kill them. And that's something that I feel makes this a little bit different than maybe clothing or some other things that I don't really know a lot about. Sweatshop stuff is evil in general, but at the same time, the glass stuff is actually really, really hazardous to their
Right.
health. I mean, it will kill them
Yes.
indefinitely.
I
So
mean, we're looking at a picture now.
yeah, that's just something that I feel like it's people need to know more about this stuff and know about the origins of it. And at the same time, a lot of us that started this business, not saying that I started this business.
Right.
I mean, I got into selling glass pipes in 1998, 99,
Right.
maybe even a little earlier than that. Those were some hazy years, but I mean, it's always been a way for rebels, people that that we got a lot of college graduates in our game, but most of us aren't. Most
Right.
of us took a risk on our skills, found a way to make a living without having to go through the proper channels of life. But we also wanted to keep it rebel. We
Right.
didn't want to follow the rules of society, but we didn't want to break the law either. And that was always the awesomest thing about our job was nothing we do is illegal, not in any state in this country. But
Right.
but many of us make a living. We pay our taxes. Me and my wife have two children, teenage children. We provide them with a good life, and we're living the American dream doing this stuff.
And that wasn't overnight. I mean, obviously, like you said, it was a sacrifice, like a risk to jump in. I mean, the equipment itself, in general, is expensive. And I mean, how long did it take you before you were able to sell a glass piece?
I had very, very good teachers.
Cool.
These guys at Fat Bottom Glass is the Instagram. At his names were Adam and Paul. At Fat Bottom Glass. It's an easy, good name.
I
They named it
actually
after
follow
the Kiss song, Fat Bottom Girls. But anyway, I had really great teachers, so I mean, I was able to sell and make some money within even a few weeks to a few months after getting started.
Hell yeah.
But it wasn't until 4 or 5 years in that I started to like really be able to make a living doing it. And it wasn't until just, 4 or 5 years ago that I really started to find my stride with my own styles and try to start my own thing. So, I mean, it's been a process for me for a long time. There's a lot of guys that pick it up way quicker, way faster than me. And, don't have to, it just comes naturally. I wasn't that way. I had to work really hard.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, it's paid off. I love your work. I mean,
Thank you.
both of you guys make amazing work. I'm reading here, though, that since you started this anti-China campaign, that you've lost, like, support from people. You've lost friends and high-dollar accounts that support your brand. Is that because they don't want to take the risk of fucking educating people or being accountable for this shit?
Yeah, I think they just don't want, to be
A lot of them took it personal.
like a personal attack.
When a store spends money on your product, let's just say I spent, some of these guys spent $10,000 to $15,000 a year on my products, and even though on my end I see it as, don't get me wrong, I got loyalty to my shops, I really do. But as I've explained to some of them, I've got more loyalty to my trade, and I've got more loyalty to the artists, my peers, and the upcoming glassblowers, the guys that haven't even started yet, my kids, people that we got to make sure this is secure for them too. That's what we all worked hard for, and a lot of them took it personal, as in they just thought, why does he have to say brands that we sell? Because. And in their defense, even though they sort of always knew, they didn't really know. These shops get lied to all the time too.
Right, I'm sure.
So they don't know. They go to Champs.
I've
they
been
see
to those trade shows.
Pretty girls are slinging this stuff for their booths, repping these companies.
Absolutely.
And even those girls, they don't know where it's from. So it's not really the shop's fault, but. The bottom line is some of these shops that I do business with are heavily invested into these brands. These are major brands. Glass Labs 303 was the first. That was the one I wanted to target the most, just because
they advertise to be
not only do they advertise to be local, but I knew enough information inside of their operation that I indefinitely, I will never ever, lie about a shop or say something half-assed without knowing for sure that we know that company is screwing over people by,
you're not going to
importing their
slander,
stuff.
right.
In Glass Labs 303, I had just an overwhelming amount of information about them. Not to mention the fact that I've actually seen the shipping warehouse. It's not a studio at all. So that was our first one, and they are heavily embedded in almost every shop in this state and across the country. Everyone thinks they're buying all this really great local Denver. This is, the forefront of the legal marijuana thing, and they're just buying Chinese piece of shit that some kid made with some pretty colors that they did buy in America. That's how they're, kind of tricking people, is they buy a little bit of our material, send it over there. And I just think it's really shitty they're getting away with that. So.
Or they set up headquarters, like in California and shit like that.
Exactly. But the shops get upset because, that's money to them. That's easy, quick money. But, they knew what was up when they got the wholesale list and the prices were too good to be true.
Oh, yeah, you pay 75 cents for a glass slide
Well,
and fucking turn around and sell it for $20. You know?
We have some of the most talented artists in the country in this area.
Absolutely.
We got guys that aren't even on Instagram. They're not known socially. That are just ballers. And when the best guys in your neighborhood come in at, let's just say, $100 a unit on a piece, and somebody brings you the same thing and says, well, mine's 75 cents.
Yeah.
And you don't know what's going on? Come on.
Yeah.
There's only one way to do that stuff, so.
Just like Roar. I don't know if you guys saw Roar has been on a lawsuit run. They're suing all sorts of different distributors and sellers of the glass because they can't target the China companies. It's impossible to. for selling counterfeit roars. And
Good, I mean, good for them.
Yeah,
I wasn't
they're
aware
winning.
of that, actually.
They're winning, yeah.
But I do know they are one of the most knocked off companies
Yes.
out there, and I mean, that's
They're one of the biggest names out there too. I mean, that's
Yes.
You know.
And I mean, it's the same thing with these sellers, these mom and pops that are like, I didn't know it wasn't a real roar. Come on. A real
If it's
roar
too
sells
good to
for
be
like
true.
$2,000. Like, come on. And so it's crazy that they have like spies essentially in the glass industry that are waiting, watching, like fucking vultures, just to get that design down and to start making them. It's crazy. Like, I don't think people realize that with this industry, how much there's a lot of shady shit just in the pot industry in general. Not like in the manufacturing, just that, or the dispensaries, but in the actual like products we use. The lines behind them are there's some fucked up means in this industry, and they're taking advantage of people, right and left, and it's crazy. It shouldn't be about that.
No, I agree. You know, I mean, when I talk about this stuff, something that I get commonly tossed back at me, unfortunately, from a lot of younger millennial age group people, is they go, well, our phones are made with slaves and our shoes are made with slaves and all this other stuff, so what does it fucking matter? And it's like, well, I mean, that's a tough one for me. I mean, I wish I could just speak confidently about what happens in an iPhone studio, but I have no idea. I have no idea how the thing works.
Right.
I don't know. I'm sure they probably breathe in toxic stuff too.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this is just something that I know about, and, you know, you said it, you know, best. It's just, we're supposed to be a community of love and harmony, and, smoking weed is not supposed to be an aggressive capitalism thing.
Right,
It's something that brings people together, something people can jive over, hang out over, discuss music, play video games, play basketball, go hiking. I mean, whatever. It's just something that brings people together. And, you know, it was illegal because of us hippies or whatever for so
Right.
long, but now that it's starting to become socially acceptable, everybody, you know, with capitalistic, you know, unfortunately, the American way, they all want a piece of our pie. And, I mean, they didn't want anything to do with it since the 90s till recently, so, like, they should fuck off. And
Glass blowers had to deal with a different thing. Like, glass and head shops had to deal with cops busting their doors in for a long time and deal with that shit. Work through this industry that way, too. They earned their line into that. So there is a lot more at stake, I would say, for glass than fucking an Arizona can or, you know, a camera. I don't know. I don't know anybody making cameras. I don't know
For
anybody
sure.
making cell phones. I don't know anybody fucking
That's
'cause we
making
don't make any of
shoes.
that
Yeah.
stuff here anymore.
We
That's
don't.
what I say, though. It's like in Fort Collins, how many hundreds of glass blowers are there coming in
Right.
with products at every single dollar amount? And that's why, you know, we believe that you should choose, you know, local glass over the China ones because it's expensive to live out here. And
It is.
it is, you know, and everybody, you know, needs to make a living. And that's the thing. It's like,
It's quality, too.
you can say, well, your jeans are made in China. Okay, well, where's the 50 jean manufacturers in Fort Collins? I'll go to one of those. There's not.
No. And they did that on purpose. Fucking NAFTA! I don't know. It's crazy. I love the one of the ways you went about educating people was not just by, you know, posting up pictures and stuff, but you actually bought lead test kits, right?
Yeah,
Right,
that was
am I not-
actually my wife. So,
Right, yeah.
you know, we've always heard we've always heard these rumors, you know, that like they like use lead in their glass and paint and stuff. And so, you know, we've talked about wanting to do a test for the longest time, and I just kept talking about it. Rose finally went out and actually bought the damn thing, and it was like, okay, well, let's do this now. And
Yeah, just to see if it was true.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, and, you know, ultimately what we kind of discovered is, you know, there may or may not be something funky in their glass. who knows what they throw in their shit. I mean, it could be crazy, but I haven't actually gotten a lead test to pop positive on the China glass, but their bake-on labels, the labels that they put on everything, you know, they're lead paint based, and they do pop positive for a surface test of lead. And you know, I mean, just little things like putting your hand on that base inadvertently, not thinking about it, and then going to cover your mouth after you cough. You're kind of microdosing your own body with this stuff. And
taking a dab with anything like that near it, like the heat from that has got to.
It's unnecessary. Why? I mean, what we don't need to buy. I mean, and we did away with lead paint in like the frickin' 70s.
Yeah.
Why on earth would we even allow any product? Why risk it? Why use it?
Or let people know there's a risk.
Yeah. And but I also think that might be sort of. I mean, like, I dare say we were the first people ever, but like I don't know of anybody knowing about this really.
Right.
So like I guess there's that. Like, maybe this is just brand new news, and as it gets around, we'll see what that brings. It was a weird thing because we were really just trying to like fuck with companies that were exploiting children and stuff, and like providing unsafe, unquality products, and then the lead just sort of like happened. And like we couldn't get a lot of people to listen by just talking about exploited children.
Right.
It's kind of a messed up thing, but like people like to tune out on that stuff. And I mean, look, even I'm guilty too, dude. When you're eating McDonald's and that commercial comes up with the starving kids, you kind of want to change the channel, dude.
Yeah.
You don't want to, you know, if you're feeling good today, you don't want to see that shit.
Right.
So I mean, I get it, but we start bringing up lead, and next thing you know, everyone's going, well, holy shit, that's fucked up. Like, I handle my bong 8 times a day.
Yeah.
You know, like we all do.
You and it's coming into your home. And stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Fuck.
I mean, so yeah, it's sucky stuff, man.
It's crazy.
When you have no regulations, and you know, it's weird.
I kind of want to see a Sarah McLachlan like Animal Humane Society commercial with pythons on meth.
Yes.
Your donation today can rehabilitate a tiger on heroin. Yeah, I think it's great that you guys are doing this and educating people on it. I say, why not support, you know, good glass? People sit and say that it costs more, but it's an artistry. It is a fucking artistry. And it's worth it. The quality is worth it. The artistry is worth it. You're not paying to support the child labor.
Exactly.
You know, I don't think I have a piece of like Chinese glass that I know of.
Good for you.
All I have to say is there's a price range for everyone, and something I've tried to touch on with a lot of people is, don't feel entitled to own a 4-foot bong with 100 perks made by the greatest artists in the world. I mean, you don't have to buy. You can complain about. Even I see stuff that's priced ridiculously.
Right.
Every day I see artist stuff where I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? You're gonna walk into a store and you're gonna ask for how much money? But ultimately, you know, you don't have to have the craziest things that you see on the internet. You can settle for. You know, I mean, if you've got a handpipe budget, you got a handpipe budget.
Right.
You know, but I mean, you can get a great piece of art for $100.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, you don't have to spend a ton of money. So I do think that's a misconception. People just think they deserve a mothership for you know, that price, and it's like, well, those things are thousands of dollars. I don't know what to tell you. I've been a glass blower for 16 years, and I can't afford a mothership. You should see what I smoke out of.
You know. I have to say, like, I love your glass. I'm not saying that to kiss ass. I'm saying, like, I would rather have, like, some of the I mean, you have beautiful glass. It's every piece is totally different, and that's great. And I have a lot of customers at the shop that love your guys' glass and know it by name, and it's great to see that. If just more people would fucking learn, it's every bit worth it, you know. I guess is a way to put it.
For sure.
They want. A lot of people want. I break it so much. I want something cheap. I want it.
You got to put a
want
vegan
it
tag on
Yeah.
it. Just call it vegan. Or
Just put a
gluten-free.
fucking picture of a sad little Asian child, like with cuts on his hands.
just the glass
and
cuts or burns. Just blisters on his fingers.
It'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about this?
China glass sucks ass.
Good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
I only support local glass blowers.
Mm.
And then Matt.
Yeah, I kind of want to talk about that. You collaborated with Chesler, right? One of
Yeah.
you guys collaborated with on the anal bead, right?
Yes,
or on the
on a butt plug.
How was this?
It was fun, man. The funniest part about it was I thought that we were making it like a non-functional joke. So like my idea was like, oh, I'll put like 100 horns on it. It'll look like
That's what I pictured.
insane, and you would never want to shove it up your butt. But no, Matt wanted to keep it. He wanted to keep it usable. So yeah, I just did a little bit of horn work at the top, and he auctioned it off for charity, which or I think he's going to.
He's going to. I think he's going
but I
more.
mean, it's great. I mean, his thing that he's doing, it's hilarious. It's funny. One thing you'll see on like Instagram specifically is a lot of glass blowers do like to get into charitable things, and it's fun to keep it fun. You know, I mean.
So that idea, him approaching you about that, started because of the podcast.
I did.
right?
I
Yeah.
did see the
Yeah.
actually. I was my whole family was actually watching pretty much, and my kids were just gimping out.
That's
They
awesome.
thought that was so funny.
That made Amy's night when she saw that.
So it's been I love it. I want to see more of the assholes for charity, buttholes for charity. What is it
Whatever
called?
he
Assholes
calls it.
for
Yeah,
change.
yeah, it's
Asshole-
assholes.
Assholes.
For change.
Yep.
Assholes for change.
I want
It's-
to
Good
collab
shit.
with him on one someday.
It'd be
Maybe
awesome.
like turtles on it a little.
Yes.
Turtle
There
head.
Yes.
You do like an ocean scene inside.
That'd be pretty great. Be careful,
flower.
you'll give him too many great
Little
ideas.
flower.
He'll do a turtle heading turtle.
A dragon head,
Dragon head that just kind of sits there.
just like staring at you. Whenever it's
Matt's a
in.
great guy.
He is. He's a character. I love him.
I do too.
We have good times with him. But I'm glad to see it actually happened.
Yeah.
The idea actually came. I wish we had a picture of it. We should get one.
We should.
get one.
We will.
You should have
I
it?
don't think I have a picture of
Oh, you
it.
didn't bring your phone, did you?
I did not bring my phone.